Am I the asshole for telling her if her life is so hard she can get a job? I do love her, but I am really annoyed right now. My GF could not get through college because it was too difficult for her. She was 24, she was crying all the time and stressed out. She tried for multiple years but couldn't do it. She said it was too hard for her, and after discussing it a lot, I said she could drop out and I'd take care of her. I liked the idea of giving someone I love a really happy and great life. She can enjoy herself and chase after hobbies. I always pictured myself with someone that was highly educated like I was. But I realized it doesn't have to be that way, and some people are happier without the capitalist grind. It was hard for a while, especially when we were younger and I was still in school, but I'm an engineer now. Since I am the only person providing, I work upper 40s to mid 50s every week. I love my job and I am passionate about what I do, but it is physically exhausting. It even zaps my energy on the weekends. I'm still really young though, so I am hoping to work less in the future. She does like 90% of the cooking and cleaning, but we have a smallish condo, live in a big city, and no kids. We do have a dog. So I was shocked when we were with new friends, and she mentioned that she was a stay-at-home mom, and it was the hardest job in the world. What she did, I corrected her and said we didn't have kids and didn't want any for the next 10 years. She said, sure, but our dog is our child. For the rest of the dinner, she went on to talk about how difficult being a housewife is with a woman there that was actually a stay-at-home mom. It really rubbed me wrong. I wouldn't ever say I have the hardest job in the world. Afterwards, I asked her what she meant. I said she was living the life I would kill to be in her shoes. I'm clocking 50 hours a week while she's sending me pictures of her shopping at Target, spending hundreds somehow, and she has the hardest job in the entire world. I said that made me feel really underappreciated. She said I was underappreciating her. It is the hardest job. Cooking and cleaning is exhausting. She said she spent 6 hours on cooking yesterday, but I pointed out all she made was a Chipotle bowl. If that's taking you 6 hours, something is wrong. She said she was counting in the hours she spent letting the beans simmer. Like, it comes off extremely privileged, which she is, I guess. I told her she has no idea what it's like for me. She's never worked a full-time job, and it rubs me the wrong way she's talking about how hard cooking beans is. I said if it was that hard, she can go back to school or get a job, and we'll hire a cook/cleaner. If I hired someone to do her job, I'd save a lot of money. It turned into a big fight. She called me an AH. Am I the asshole? Nina, you're being taken advantage of. This will not get better. You should consider yourself lucky she's just a girlfriend and you have no kids. Leave now. She will always be entitled and always think she's doing more. Counting the beans simmering? She is ridiculous. I feel horrible for reconsidering our relationship over this, but I am. It just made me realize how entitled and ungrateful she is. Who counts the time it takes for food to simmer as the amount of time you spent working? She was probably watching TV during... I'm not going to make any rush decisions. I'm going to think about it. But I definitely don't think our relationship can continue the way it currently is. I'd appreciate it if she at least got a job, maybe. I don't know. I think it's a good idea for everyone to work a full-time job, at least at some part in your life. You're not wrong thinking. I'm a single mom and have been for 17 years. It's a hard job, no question. I also worked a high-stress job for over a decade, was in the military, etc. I would never be so egotistic as to say any of those things was the hardest job in the world. Your girlfriend needs a wake-up call. I work 50 hours a week with a salary job at a school. I have a cat. I cook and clean. I'm an adult. She's not a stay-at-home mom. She's a spoiled stay-at-home adult because she's not even your wife. I don't think she realizes that what she is calling the hardest job in the whole world is what most of us do when we clock out of our jobs. Not the asshole. She needs to get off her lazy arse and get a job. Important. Do not allow her to whoops a baby, or you'll end up doing all the work for the kid too. Am I the asshole for reducing my parents' allowance by whatever amount they share with my siblings? My parents live in a less developed country than I do. My siblings and I all live in North America or Europe. When I got my new job, I did my budget and saw that I could send home roughly $1,300 a month without it affecting my personal comfort. I would still be able to save for my future, and my mom and dad could retire. So when I was home, I set up a joint account for us. That way I could see is they needed more and make sure that they were not getting scammed or anything. After about a year and a half, I started noticing that there was a $200 transfer every month. I asked them about it, and they said he was having difficulties with his budget, so they were helping him out. My brother doesn't need help. He is a scholarship student. He actually receives a stipend from my home government to study abroad. What he wants is money to party. So I reduced the amount I give them by $200. Obviously, they do not need it if they can afford to give it away every month. My mom called me when she noticed and was yelling at me for being a crappy daughter and sister. I asked her to tell me exactly how much money they contributed to my party fund when I was away for school. Just so you know, the answer is season. They also tried to talk me out of attending university in Canada. I'm not sure how common the idea of filial piety is in other cultures, but it's a big deal in mine. She went off about it. I told her that they didn't need the money and I had better ways to spend $200 than to gift it to my brother so he could get drunk with his friends more. She said that I am treating them like children by restricting how they spend their money. I replied that I was not going to subsidize my brother through them, and that, from now on, the amount they got from me would be $1,100, and that if they sent him money again, I would know and reduce their money by that amount going forward. My brother called me to bitch me out about cutting off his money from our parents. I said that I hadn't. He was welcome to tell our parents to go back to back-breaking jobs at their age to pay for his partying in London. Then they would have my money to live off of, and their wages to pay for his drinking. My boyfriend is on my side, as are many of my friends. Most of my family and people from my culture think I am being an asshole. However, for the last 2 months, my parents have only been spending on themselves. Not the asshole. And since your parents probably don't tell you often enough, I'll say it for them. You are an amazingly thoughtful, loving, and caring child to your parents. You send them upwards of $1,000 every month, just so they can retire and not have to work. That's amazing. You are also reducing the amount you give them as a preventative measure to make sure they don't get taken advantage of by a spoiled son. If they give $200 now without consequences, it would eventually increase to $300, then $400, then $500, and so on and so forth. You set a boundary that will help your parents to keep their money for themselves so they can continue to remain retired and not spread themselves too thin. Not the asshole. If you wanted to give your brother $200 a month, you could send it direct. You don't have to give your parents money to make an end run so that you're giving your brother that $200. I agree with your logic. If they're sending $200 a month to brother, that's money they don't actually need from you. The total effect is that you stopped giving brother $200 a month. Not the asshole. They don't want to be treated like children, but will gladly take a monthly allowance from you. An allowance they wouldn't have if you had listened to them and accepted their lack of support. I doubt your brother will send them money when he gets a job. So they have a choice to make. Keep giving him money they claim to need, or use the money so they can have an easier retirement. She said that I am treating them like children by restricting how they spend their money. That's hilarious. Say it right back at her. Not the asshole. Am I the asshole for assuming my friends were paying for my birthday meal? This happened a few days ago, and I have been conflicted since. Before my birthday, 5 of my friends asked if I would like to get some food and drinks out for my birthday event. I said, sure, where would we go? Mike said, anywhere you like. I suggested a nearby steakhouse that I have been to in the past. We all met each other there. Mike was quick to order himself a drink and started talking about appetizers. I said I don't normally eat them, but I will try one. We ordered our mains, and we all had ordered the steak and another round of drinks, at which point Adam also ordered a bottle of champagne. I said, you guys don't need to get me champagne. It's only my birthday, nothing too special. When Mike said, lighten up, birthday boy, have some fun. I did think maybe I was being too uptight, and since I was being treated, it's not too big of a problem. I may as well celebrate. Mike started arguing with the table next to us because they threw a French fry at him. I tried to explain to him that they weren't even eating French fries. He had them earlier and must have dropped one. Then he stood up and started swearing at the table. There was a child at the table, about 3 years old, who looked absolutely shocked. I told Mike to sit down, and he started pushing me, saying, that man threw something at me. The waiter came over and said there had been complaints against us. Mike just silently drank his beer, and Adam started arguing with the waiter, saying the other table started it. The waiter said we needed to pay up and leave in the next few minutes before there was a problem. I said, thanks guys. Do you want me to help pay? At which point, they all looked at me, and Adam said, you're the birthday man, right? You got money. I said, I thought you were inviting me because it's my birthday as a present. Adam chuckled a bit and said, weren't you the one that chose where we were going, bud? Adam got up to leave and said, let's go, boys. I started to worry. I thought they were pranking me or something, and said, you can't really go. Then Adam started to walk away, so I grabbed him a bit, and he looked at my hand and said, "Get your hand off me, pal." I just looked at him and said, "Why are you acting like this, man?" They walked out and left me with the bill. I tried to explain to the waiter about the situation. He said, "Someone's gotta pay, and your table was causing a lot of trouble tonight." I tried to apologize, but he just looked at me like I was dirt, so I just paid. It was most of my money. I spoke to my friends after, and they just acted like nothing happened. I said, "You guys need to pay me back." And I got several replies along the lines of, "It's already over. Leave it." So I haven't spoken to them in a few days. I received a few messages asking me if I am still crying, or if I grew up yet. I haven't replied, and I want to know if I was wrong to assume that I wouldn't be paying. The whole situation had me feeling weird. Why would you be friends with any of these people? I'd have paid my part of the tab and left. If the restaurant wanted to call the police, I'd let them and provide contacts to the police for everyone who ditched. I didn't want to cause any more of a scene, and I was feeling like an ass to the waiter and the table next to us. I am friends with them because we used to work together. Used to, not anymore, so no reason to ever socialize again. Not the asshole, but those are not your friends. Time to move on and find new friends. Friends don't invite someone out on their birthday and stiff them with the bill. Friends don't invite someone out on their birthday and start a fight. When I read the first half, I thought it was going to be that it was a split bill, and OP thought his friends were planning to pay his portion. I can't imagine inviting someone out for their birthday, insisting on ordering apps and drinks and champagne, and then sticking them with the bill for the whole group. These are not friends. OP should never speak to these people again. Not the asshole. Well, that's another episode of Am I the Asshole in the books. I really appreciate all of you who made it this far into the video. Of course, if you enjoyed this video, it would really help the channel out a lot if you gave the video a thumbs up, subscribe, or leave a comment down below. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.